All right, here we go. Good, all right, good. The microphone is working today. All right, hey everybody at home, hey everybody in here. Here we go. Today, we're going to talk about, we're going to spend a lot of time on the lab that we did yesterday, but before we do that, we're going to talk about temperature in the metric system. Now, temperature in the metric system, I'd like to say, hey, it's just Celsius, but really, the standard unit of measurement for temperature is really this thing called kelvins. And I'm going to explain that to you today, but first I'm going to go over what Celsius really is, okay? Now Celsius, 0 degrees Celsius, okay? 0 degrees Celsius, that is the freezing point of water, okay? So, there we go. That's a cube of ice. All right, so 0 degrees Celsius is the freezing point of water. Zoom in a little bit more. All right, so 0 degrees Celsius is the freezing point of water. When you come up to here, 100 degrees Celsius, that's the boiling point of water. There's a little pot and some water boiling. Okay, right? So the Celsius scale, Celsius, I guess that's spelled right. The Celsius scale is based on water. And you know, we've talked about the metric system for several days now, right? And the metric system is based on water, like 1 milliliter of water, right? Weighs 1 gram. And if you put it in a little cube, it would take up 1 cubic centimeter of space. Another way to put that's 1 cc, right? So there's a metric system. Well, Celsius is a great tool to use, especially when we're working with water, all right? Now, the thing is, we can't really use Celsius when we're dealing with the metric system all the time. And the reason is that we'll often be dealing with temperatures that are colder than 0, right? So it does definitely get colder than 0 degrees Celsius. As a matter of fact, I might have gone off the board there. Yeah. As a matter of fact, the coldest temperature is negative 273 degrees Celsius. Okay? And then, of course, we can go off the charts that way. All right? Now, we're going to do a lab later in the semester. And if it's your week to be here, great. And if it's not, you'll have to watch us do it online. But we can figure out how negative 273 degrees Celsius is really our coldest temperature. Does anyone know the word for the coldest temperature? It's absolute 0. Now, doesn't that sound familiar? Absolute 0, right? Okay, so if we said 0 was absolute 0, and then we made a new temperature scale, and we made all the digits or all the sizes of the temperature exactly the same as Celsius, right? Then what would 0 degrees Celsius be on this scale? You have an idea? What would 0 degrees Celsius be? Then it would be 273. Come on, people. That is terrible handwriting. 273 degrees. Does that make sense? If 0 is equal to negative 273 degrees, then if you went up 273 degrees, then 0 degrees Celsius will be equal to 273 degrees. That's the new scale. That's another scale. And then what would 100 degrees Celsius be on this new scale? 373. That's exactly right. Degrees. All right? Now this scale down here, this is really the temperature scale we're going to be using a lot of the time. This one on the bottom, okay? And the name of this scale on the bottom is called the Kelvin scale. Okay, so this is 0 degrees Kelvin. This is 273 degrees Kelvin. This is 373 degrees Kelvin, right? So if we're dealing with temperatures in everyday life, it's great to use Celsius, right? But if we're doing chemical math, and we're dealing with the gas laws, then we're going to have to use Kelvin. And the reason is, let's look at this temperature right here. It's negative 273 degrees. If we put negative into some of our math problems, then it's going to give us negative answers for things like volume and pressure. There's no such thing as a negative volume, right? So we end up using the Kelvin scale, all right? So Celsius and Kelvin, are the temperature differences the same size? Yes or no? Yes. The temperature differences are the same size. The only difference is, for Kelvin, 0 is what? What's the name of this? Absolute 0. And for 0 degrees Celsius, what is 0 degrees Celsius? It's the what? Freezing point of water. That's right. Freezing point of water. So Celsius is a really nice, practical scale to use, okay? So that's the end of the little tiny section on Celsius temperature and then Kelvin temperature, all right? Whoops, hang on, people at home, I've just made a boo-boo and done something crazy. And I think the camera's still running. Let's see here. No, it doesn't stop too. Nope, still running.